No, I was on you on that concept of like if Lucas stays, this will turn into another James Harden situation.
I strongly believe that.
When has there really been a situation where a team, particularly a small market team, gets a superstar and the organization does what's right by him and he feels he's competitive, to win? Like other than Jordan, and even then there was like a whole regime change when
Phil. Chicago is a big city. So
but then I was looking at small. That's why I said small market. Like typically small market teams, like if you're not doing what you need to do,
Duncan,
huh?
But you can't put
Spurs in Tim Duncan.
But you can't put that Jordan situation in there because if you want to be realistic, after that first, before the league transition from the Showtime Lakers into the Jordan era, everything after the Showtime Lakers era, the Bird era and Magic era, after that, all the pieces just start falling into place for Jordan. It wasn't really like Chicago was doing shit. Be realistic. Chicago wasn't on shit like that. It was like, okay, Jordan, Bird, Magic, boom, Bulls just take over for the next however many years. And then the Lakers take over, then LeBron era, you see what I'm saying? Like the Jordan just had all the pieces just fell into place. They knew what the fuck they was doing. We want to win championships. We don't give a fuck if you want to get paid, you want to get paid. Bare minimum here, bare minimum here. We're going to do whatever we can to keep this motherfucker afloat so we can continue to get championships. And that's basically what it was. He made the Chicago Bulls what they are. Because them motherfuckers nobody was talking about the Bulls like that.
Right.
You got to think about it. Who knows anything about the Bulls before Jordan got there?
Dude,
please name me one person.
No one was coming. No one was coming. They were potentially going to shut the Bulls down at that point.
Exactly. If it wasn't for Jordan coming to the Bulls, what would we be talking about the Bulls right now?
You would have been talking if he was picked correctly. You would have been talking about the Blazers being.
Thank you. And everybody would be like, "Well, is Dame the next Jordan?" The Blazers would have a fucking three-peat.
Here's the thing, no one was going above Hakeem. No one.
Bro, Hakeem is Hakeem is crazy, bro.
One,
you think about it.
Going to Houston, but he played at University of Houston. Yeah. So it just made sense. It was like one of those things. Just like DeAndre Ayton. He played at Arizona, Phoenix, right? So he was going number one regardless. Even the Bulls said if they had the number one overall pick, they were picking Hakeem.
The thing that's crazy about Hakeem, bro, I think it was the 94-95 playoffs.
Yeah,
he was fasting during that, bro. He wasn't eating.
Yeah, he was.
That is fucking nuts, bro. And then you just want imagine that the amount of bro, that's crazy, dog. I haven't ate all day and I'm out here putting up 45 and 10. That's nuts, bro.
Yeah.
That's crazy, bro.
Let's talk about the playoffs.
What about them?
So you got the Clippers meltdowns. Everybody kept talking about Ben Simmons missing free throws. But now you look at Paul George, back-to-back games, missing free throws, which could have sealed the game in game 2. And then game 3 they won. And then he missed free throws in game 4. So if you look at this should be a 2-2 or even potentially a 3-1 series lead for the Clippers.
Hey, man, all I'm going to say is never kick a black man while he's young.
That's all we do. Hey, that's all we do with Paul George on this show, apparently.
Yeah, hey, look, man. It's to the point, dog, where I honestly feel sorry for you, bro. There's really no sympathy for the winner, but
damn, are we really going to be sad? We already knew if Kawhi wasn't coming back, Phoenix was going to win the series regardless because we knew Chris Paul was coming back. You know what I mean?
Hey, man, they still got one more game to seal the deal. Like I said, I don't know. At this
I think
point, dog,
game 5 in Phoenix with all those fans, and they play better at home anyways. It's going to be tough.
I think this is the best. I think Paul George is in a situation where you signed a 5-year extension, you got your money, you're going to end up like Melo, bro, before he left New York. You just gonna be hooping.
Don't even put them in the same breath of each other, though. Paul George wishes.
Listen,
Carmelo, bro.
When Melo was with the Knicks, he went to the playoffs every year.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but he didn't have help like a Kawhi Leonard.
That's not what I'm talking about. I don't care about the help. I'm just referring to the comparison. I don't give a shit about the help. You got Kawhi Leonard.
The difference is Melo was the man.
You should be in the finals.
Melo was the man in New York.
So Paul George is the man right now?
Well, he is now, but we already know who's the man for the Clippers, but he's injured.
Yeah, robot.
That's the difference.
He's not human. He's not actually a man. He's a cyborg.
When Melo's with the Knicks, he also had Jason Kidd at point. So, yeah.
Bruh.
That's like having Chris Paul now.
We're not talking about you. What?
Yeah. First of all, no. We talked about this. We talked about this because you don't even know Jason Kidd like that. Okay? So let's
Jason Kidd is fire. He was fire.
Jason Kidd was Chris Paul before Chris Paul. Let's go ahead and say that.
He couldn't shoot as well. He can't shoot as well as Chris Paul.
That's fine. But as far as being a floor general, like, come on now. Jason Kidd is like basically the prototypical point guard everybody wants.
In this generation or in general?
In general. If you're teaching basketball, teaching the point, you tell them watch Jason Kidd.
Who would you rather teach point, Steve Nash or Jason Kidd?
Kidd. Well, you can't go wrong with either or.
My reasoning is how the game is structured is more of like a Steve Nash type.
Yeah, but you don't need a Steve Nash type to win, though. You like I always say, and like I tell anybody when we're putting a starting five together. I don't believe you want a scoring point guard. You want a point guard who knows how to score.
Right.
You want a point guard who predominantly knows how to play make and get people in the right position to score. I'd rather have my power forward, you know what I'm saying, or my small forward or my shooting guard take the handle in the scoring. There's less pressure up here and it's more mental energy I can spend, orchestrating the offense. Because if these guys are moving off every whim I make, then they're going to put themselves in position to score. Because think about it. If I'm the floor general and my number 2 guy is the best shot creator in the NBA, I don't have shit to worry about. He's going to be able to make his points as long as I orchestrate an offense. If he can't figure it out from what I orchestrated, he can just go make the play for himself. You see what I'm saying? So it's a give and take. If you want a scoring point guard, that's cool too. Because if he can play make just as good as he can score, you got a double-edged sword. It's a knife. You know what I'm saying? Like Trae Young, for example. You know what I mean? It just really depends on what you want.
Trae Young, he can get your assist, but he's primarily like shoot first.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. Jason Kidd, though, like IQ wise, off the charts, right? But I wouldn't compare him to CP3, bro.
I wouldn't either.
It's tough, man.
I think it's more.
They're both over 35, and still able to play the game. I remember my high school coach. He was like, guys who can play, who can control the ball and control the tempo like that, they play the game longer, and that's what you saw with both of those point guards. Kidd, when did he win with Dallas? He was like what?
That was in 2011.
But he was like what, 40 something? No, maybe 40 tops. When did he retire? Shortly after that, but he was late into.
I think he retired after the championship.
Yeah, he was late into his career.
That's what Chris Paul, if the Suns win, should do. He should retire.
Oh, for sure. Sit your ass down somewhere, old man.
Yeah.
Sit down. And if you just want to play the game, then play the game. Shit.
I think if you want to end your career on top, why wouldn't you go out?
Hey, man.
You're now seeing injuries plague him consistently now.
Unless he wants to go to LA and try to help them out for a second one,
Man, if he go to LA and he helps them out and they fucking win the second one, bro, Chris Paul, that would be dope. The Cinderella story behind Chris Paul is so nuts. Because I'm telling you right now, I'm looking at the score for quarter one for the Hawks and the Bucks. It's 8-17. I don't know if that's the final score, but because I paused it because it's playing music. But
Definitely not the final
8-17.
score.
I don't know if it's gonna be the final score. No, that'd be fucking nuts. Just for middle of the game. Just, all right, cool. Hawks win first quarter.
Damn, the Hawks up 20-8, bro. I told you ATL is a different
That's
beast.
something weird that I've noticed in these a lot of these games and how they start. Like one team will go on a big run. Have you guys noticed
Third quarter, boom, the other team.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't want to call it an NBA setup, but it's just I noticed that pattern. Like every time I'm watching the game, I'm like, whoa, this team's up by this much, and it's like it keeps happening. I don't.
It's not normal, bro.
It's not normal at all. So I don't.
Yeah, see, when people have two eyes and two ears, they tend to notice things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, but it's more so from we're not average basketball fans though. We check analytics. We look at points per 100 possessions and shit like that. There's people out there that do that, but you can't have those conversations with a casual man. You know how that goes. I think about shit like that all the time too. I'm like, there's no fucking way if you look at the last 6 minutes of that game between the Clippers and the Suns, there's no fucking way you mean to tell me only 20 points got scored between both teams. That is fucking nuts.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel normal. It's something about this finals is weird. I want Chris Paul to win a ring. I do not believe Giannis will get a ring. I believe his whole legacy will be in question after this series, if he doesn't make it out of the Eastern Conference Finals in this playoff series.
Told you he should.
And the Hawks go. Like I told Tony when he called me yesterday, like I said I believe it will be the Suns. I said it will be the Hawks in 7 for the simple fact of I don't know why I feel like this. I don't know why I think this, but this is my honest belief. DeAndre Ayton is going to find a way to fuck up those finals. He's going to ruin it. I don't know how he's going to ruin it, but I have a strong belief that he's going to ruin it for the Phoenix.
So, all right. So your prediction is Suns and the Hawks in the finals, and the Hawks beat the Suns in 7.
Yes. I don't know why I feel like that.
They have the shooting to do it, and that is a compelling matchup with Capella,
This Tony, this has zero to do with stats, players, ability, any of that. I literally had a dream that DeAndre Ayton did something, fouled out. They had no big man to protect the rim, and the fucking Hawks won it. And Trae Young got a ring. Chris Paul retired because he couldn't win, and that was pretty much it. It was the weirdest fucking dream ever, but that's what I'm rocking with, dog. My mind ain't never lied to me.
All right, Drew, who you taking to the finals?
Bro, I'm clearly Phoenix. Well, they don't have to do much at this point. But out the East, that's 1-1 right now?
Yeah. So basically Atlanta has home court. All they have to do is win all their home games and they'll win the series.
I don't even know, man.
It's a tough one, bro.
I think that's going to 7. I said that before. That's right. That one's going to 7. But Atlanta, I don't know, man.
They're fucking lethal, bro. And a lot of people, somebody tried to compare them to the when AI was with Philly. I said, you're out of your fucking mind.
You're
bro.
tripping, bro.
You just compare Clint Capella to Eric Snow. Bro, imagine the amount of cocaine you have to be on to think that's an absolute perfect comparison.
Bro, these teams are a lot closer than people are saying. Like they were like, somebody was like, "Oh yeah, the Hawks win the upset." I'm like, yeah, numbers wise, because you had to see them. But if you look at the quality of play, it's like these teams are close.
Who is GM of the year? Did they call that yet? Because if not, you have to look at Atlanta because they brought all those shooters in this last offseason.
And they hired Nate McMillan. What was that?
Yep.
2 years ago?
This is his first year, I think. Or is it his second year? First or second. But what I'm saying is they won the free agency. Atlanta did. Because they brought in like 3 or 4 other shooters who are pretty much in the starting lineup. And they brought in Rondo, but then traded Rondo to get assets or whatever. But
you see how that panned out.
What's that?
James Jones.
You see how that panned out.
Oh, for Phoenix?
Yeah, that's the one.
But really, the construction of what it was, I think Atlanta improved more from where they were because of off-season, meaning free agency signings compared to where they were last year to this. Very close, where they had to resign, they signed multiple assets to get a rotation and a coach, where Phoenix already had their coach and they just brought in Chris Paul.
I think a lot of people underestimate.
But it was harder to construct, is what I'm saying, in Atlanta more than Phoenix. Because they already had that set. They just brought
I think it was easier to construct with Atlanta. I think Phoenix, there was nothing. I think there was nothing really wrong with the Phoenix roster. So I don't think you would really get GM points for getting Chris Paul in a trade, because everybody kind of knows what Chris Paul is known for. He makes every team he goes to better. So it's like, yeah, salute. We're glad you did it, but it's like, okay, you got Chris Paul. Like, that's one GM move versus, Atlanta. They got Gallinari, then they got Lou Williams, who a lot of people underestimate when it comes to scoring ability and how quick he can move the tempo.
Bogdanovich.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So I feel like Atlanta definitely deserved it. But because if you look at from an over and under standpoint, what the fuck has the Clippers really done with Rondo? You've been hearing more about Reggie Jackson than you've heard about Rondo. Yeah. And we all know how Skip Bayless loves to deep throat the shit out the Clippers. Oh man, playoff Rondo, he's gonna change the game. Bro, what has Rondo done since he's been with the Clippers? Please tell me.
Just collect pine.
Thank you. I rest my case. He's done a lot. He did a lot more that LA season than he did this season. And that's why I was so pissed that the Lakers didn't keep him. But
is it a thing that
he wanted that bad?
Asked to do more in LA at the Lakers and the Clippers? I mean,
if we want to put it on, responsibility as far as like what you were asked to do, I feel like he might be asked to do more in the Clippers, but they're not giving him the opportunity to.
Well, those kind of go hand in hand,
and that's what I think it is. Yeah. Because even when he was with the Lakers, I felt like it just felt like he was playing good because it was chemistry based. You feel what I'm saying? You had been there before. So I think that played a big part in it. Also, you're playing with somebody who has leadership quality. You come there and everybody just automatically saying you're the leader. Like, nigga, I just got here. What the fuck? Like, it's my third day out here. Like, what you mean I'm the leader? Like, that's nuts. Like, you have to, like, it just doesn't feel like that organization is, like, as far as on the court, it just feels like the chemistry is always at 75%, no matter how good of the players you have. Because everyone expects Kawhi to be a leader, when to me, he's a mercenary. Because I feel like he has no real loyalty to any team. If this is where I want to go, this is where I want to go type situation.
I mean, that's how the NBA is now. Look at KD. Look at LeBron.
But how the NBA, but Tony, how the NBA is versus how players are is two totally different things.
Well, yeah,
not every player is like that.
At the same time, everybody takes shot at Dame because he's so loyal. So it's just like you're loyal to a fault at the same time, right? So it's kind of like,
Dame is a tricky situation, though. It's a tricky situation with Dame.
To them. He doesn't owe them anything.
I think it's definitely good for a star to, like, give the due process X amount of years, like, say, hey, I tried this and I gave it my all. And then, when it's time to walk, have that conversation. But I can't knock him for, really trying to make a situation work, It speaks.
The problem is CJ McCollum.
No, I'm gonna tell you what the problem is.
All on him.
No, not all. But what I'm saying is, you have two players that play the same way. Just one can pass the ball a little better.
This is the thing about Dame.
Exactly like Dame. That's the problem.
Exactly like but here's the thing.
You can shoot
Dame on another team, and Dame's
style, height, everything.
Dame. If you put CJ on another team, I don't think he eats how he does.
I think the Sixers should trade for CJ.
I'm gonna tell you what that.
Telling you that pick and roll with Embiid and CJ, because they're not gonna get Dame. Dame's not gonna do that.
But I'm saying,
bro, listen,
would be a better pick for that because he's a true.
Who?
Sexton.
He thinks Sexton is trash. The thing about Dame is he's loyal to a small fire, victim to a burning building. He's gonna be a part of that franchise for as long as possible until it no longer makes sense. And what most people won't realize is his contract is gonna run out by the time he's past his prime. He's in his prime right now. So within the next year, between 2021 and whatever the trade season is for 2020 for next year, when that takes place, I don't believe Dame will be there next year. I honestly don't believe he will be there next year. He's either going to make a really big move to go somewhere, or if he does stay, he's going to ask for help. But what people don't understand is it's the same thing with Giannis. It's the same thing that Paul George said. I had Blake Griffin trying to come to Indiana and play with me. The owners just didn't want it. It just wasn't happening. Anthony Davis, I think he said something about him wanting to play with Paul George at some point or something like that. And it just didn't happen because nobody wants
to. I think he's supposed to go to Indiana too. Like it was like a different thing, and he was supposed to go to Indiana.
Yeah, AD and Blake Griffin were both supposed to go to Indiana and play with Paul George. It just didn't happen because in reality, people won't accept it, but it is what it is. There's really only 10 or 12 teams that people want to really play for in the NBA. 6 if you want to be an asshole about it. You know what I'm saying? Out of all these teams in the NBA,
well, let's list
them. Who the fuck wants to play in Oklahoma? Who the fuck wants to play in Oklahoma?
A local, probably.
I think Blake
I rest my case.
Wouldn't mind finishing his career there. But
finishing your career, not spending your prime.
That's what I'm saying. That's the only person I could see. Because he's from Oklahoma, he went to university.
He looked like he's from Oklahoma. That dude is he's a weird looking man, bro.
Oh, I talked to an insider real quick about the Wizards. Basically, Bill wants to stay. Bill's not trying to leave. And then we know about Westbrook. I guess he's owed $90 million or something next year. Yeah.
What?
Wait. It might be. He's in a night. In the next. Okay, yeah. I think it's that.
Oh, like $90 million in 1 year. Sign me up, bro.
But yeah, that's what. Yeah, I almost butchered that, but yeah,
it's probably 40 and then 50. This last year.
I'm gonna text you who this person is. But yeah, because he goes to my the gym that I work at. That's where I met him at. Because I spotted him. I'm like, yo. And I asked him, like, oh, are you watching the show? I'm like, yeah, bro. So, but yeah, he said.
Oh, he watches the podcast?
No. I watch because he's on. I don't want to like leaks. Well, I mean,
you don't have to, bro. You could just send it in the group chat.
I'll talk to respect about who it is. I want to, trying to level up. So I ain't trying to put the names out.
We're not trying to get phased out before we get started.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I spotted him and we was talking hoops and whatnot. So yeah.
Hey, I met a guy who went to University of Maryland. He lives in DC or used to live in DC. And he might want to come on the pod and talk. He played for University of Maryland all 4 years for football. So I think that'd be pretty cool.
Okay, yeah.
That'll be dope. I'm down for it.
Yeah, but let's transition and talk about the whole Mavericks situation from top to bottom. What you guys think of Donnie Nelson? Essentially, they said he was stepping down, but we all know he got fired. Being in that for 24 years. And then a day later or 2 days later, Rick Carlisle was like, okay, adios. I'm out of here too. And then now the new GM is basically the representative basically of Nike, I think. I think that's what it is. Like that's their new GM is pretty much a guy from Nike for all players and all that stuff. And then you bring in Jason Kidd. What is your guys' thoughts first on the whole, we'll get into the coaching later, but what about the GM situation?
What position was Don Nelson? Was he like a basketball VP or
he was general manager and I think basketball operations, both. He was key to bringing in Dirk and Luka.
Well, before that, I remember he was coaching the Warriors and like.
No. This is not Don Nelson. This is Don Nelson's son.
Oh, shoot.
So there's Don Nelson and there's Donnie Nelson. Oh. Donnie Nelson has been with the Mavericks for years as a GM, for 24 years. Then his dad was the coach.
Okay. I'm hip now.
Two different things. But this is what's interesting. Donnie Nelson helped find Dirk, and he built that relationship with Dirk, and that's why Dirk stayed. Then at how old is Luka? 20?
Something like that.
So he found Luka and built the relationship with Luka when Luka was 13 years old. So he has a relationship with Luka for the last 7 years.
Yeah.
And that's another reason why Luka hasn't signed. So knowing that big change for just talking about the GM spot to get a brand new face, I get it. Last 10 years, 6 times in the playoffs and all out in the first round. The other 4 times you missed the playoffs. So it's kind of like new scenery. But knowing that the one person you don't want to frustrate is Luka, how does that look?
It ain't about how it looks. It just looks like, I mean,
Wait,
is Luka signed with Nike?
nah, Jordan.
Oh, I mean, that's still under Nike though, right?
Yeah, it goes like Nike and then Jordan's with that realm. So it's like, it's a thing. So I think that's why they brought him in too, to try to get more players to come to Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
What was that, Siri?
That was Alexa.
Alexa. No, so I think that's another reason. But I guess this person knows like hella like people to try to, because I think that's the problem with Dallas. They are not able to get free agents like that. That's been Dallas' whole thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it's like, if I was to play in NBA, I would want to play for an owner who's all player owner, like the Clippers owner, like Mark Cuban, right? Or like a Lakers who are all in on everything, not just about fucking, they'll do anything to try to win, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's who I would want to play for. But it doesn't seem like there's
a miscommunication going on.
There's something going on. It doesn't make sense. And that's why I was like, kind of like, I understand it's a business, but at the same time, there's one person you don't want to get pissed off.
All right, if y'all want to play this game, yeah, Luka's not going to be there very long, bro. If he continues to be disgruntled,
I don't think he signs his extension. He goes straight to free agency.
He's going to take that qualifying offer. He's going to be there another year, and he's bouncing, bro.
Wait, so you think he leaves before KP leaves?
KP is going to leave because the coaching is trash. I think KP is going to leave because, for one, to me, just based on the on-court actions, I don't think him and KP get along. Number 2, KP would be better suited off on another team where they can orchestrate. They can fit him in the offense. They can fit him in the offense.
KP would be perfect. KP would be perfect on the Warriors.
So hold up, let's stop. If Luka's leaving, allegedly, and KP's there, you don't think they would try to slowly restructure stuff around him?
I could see that.
Yeah, I mean, like, why
restructure around KP?
Yeah.
They need to structure some muscles on him. That's what they need to do.
You sound like somebody's dad.
I mean, shit.
I am a dad, bro. What you talking about?
True, yeah.
Those dad jokes, bro.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that boy running around here looking like a Slim Jim with a haircut. This shit crazy. That is a terrible look. You can't be a grown man with no chest. That's a sad, sad look, man. I think people. Hold on. Go ahead. I think people mistake KP being a diva for him actually having general complaints. The thing about it is, you're not supposed to let the public in. You know, and everybody can kind of translate when a player's like, "Oh, well, I just do what the coach." Like when Giannis is like, "I just do what the coach asks me to do." I don't know if that's what he sounds like, but and I just execute. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, if you mean to tell me you get on the court and you just do what the coach tells you to? At some point, you have to have your own mind and like try to work your way into the offense, but while following what the coach asks you to do. And if that's the case, that would explain why you see some plays where fucking KP will be wide open and Luka will just stop and pop. Like, why? Because guess what? They don't get along. They don't trust each other on the court. And that's about chemistry. That's not just coaching. That's chemistry, bro. And that's what a lot of people are missing when it comes to the situation. So I think the best thing for KP to do is leave, bro. Just leave. Like, you're not.
Come to Orlando.
It's like, yeah. Oh, whoa.
That's where players go to die.
Yeah. No. That's where old people go to die.
Man. We're going to make that work. We got 5 and 8.
That's where old people go to die.
We're not talking football. We're talking basketball now, bro.
And we have 5 and 8. Pick
Yeah.
spot.
No, that's all I'm gonna bring up later.